Hello everyone, welcome back! Welcome back! As you guys can see by the title and the thumbnail of this video, we are talking about all of the books my friends have recommended me in the past January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, 8 months. So, ew, what is that? Oh, it's a piece of tape in the trash. So, let's talk about the books that my friends have recommended me in the past 8 months. I don't know why every single time my friends recommend me something, I'm just like, oh, I'll just add it to my TBR. The TBR that is never ending, that is literally at this point so insurmountable it gives me anxiety. But I add them anyway because that's just who I am. What's a reader if her TBR isn't bigger than the books that she's read? Anyway, let's go ahead and talk about books. So we are talking the most recent recommendation to the recommendation that happened the longest time ago. Gosh. Oh. Allergies are bad today. Allergies are really bad today. Okay, so the most recent book that I was recommended was The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. I'm not sure, and I'm so sorry. Please let me know down in the comments how you pronounce their last name because I feel terrible. But this was recommended by my almost sister-in-law. She literally keeps sending me and Emily the water gun emojis on text message, and she's like, read The Poppy War. Read Poppy War. Read Poppy War. So Emily and I are talking about after I binge read this book that I am getting today because I'm so excited for it. I'm not going to dive into it though. After I binge read this book, we are going to buddy read Poppy War. So Megan, I promise I'm getting to the Poppy War. And then the next book that I have been recommended is literally all Abby Jimenez books. I have heard literally so many people rave about this book, and my almost sister-in-laws are like, Alyssa, you need to read this one. You need to read this one, and you also need to read this one, and this one, and this one. So they are all raving about Abby Jimenez, and I've literally not even read one yet. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I would like to start out with, is it Part of Your World? I think is the one that I want to start out with. But regardless, I really need to jump into some Abby Jimenez books. I don't know why it's taken me so long to jump into them because I feel like she's been popular for at least 2 years now and I've yet to read a book. Then the next book that I was recommended was the God of Malice series by Rina Kent. You guys know that I have barely dipped my toe into the dark romance genre. I read Butcher and Blackbird, and I think I read, what was it called? Once You're Mine, I think is what it was called. But those are really the only two like dark romances that I have read, so God of Malice kind of gives me the heebie-jeebies, but I really would like to give it a shot. But maybe after I read some more dark romance first. I feel like Rina Kent is a very popular dark romance author, and I feel like she might not be one to jump into if you're not into the dark romance category, is what I have heard. So I think I'm gonna wait to jump into the God of Malice trilogy or series. I don't know if it's a trilogy or... let's find out. I'm not sure though. It's a series. Oh, it's a big one too. Okay, yeah, I think I would like to wait to jump into that one just because of how dark I've heard that Rina Kent's books are. So yeah, not ready to jump into those yet. Then I was recommended Spark of the Everflame by Penn. This happened like months ago. I'm so sorry, Ashley. I promise that I will eventually get to this book. I promise, but right now is just not my romantasy era. I have just been stuck in the Magnolia Parks universe and I can't get out of it. So I promise though, I will get to them. I will get to the Spark of the Everflame books. I swear. And then I was recommended D-Day Girls by Sarah Rose. This is a historical fiction, if I'm not mistaken. This was recommended to me by Emily, my sister-in-law, because I got into, well, I don't want to say I got into, but I read a few historical fiction books this year, and it kind of opened my eyes to that genre and made me want to read more of that genre. And then Emily ended up reading this one, and I think she had recommended it to me right after or right before I read The Nightingale. And yeah, still is just on my TBR, has not been touched, has not been thought of, has not been looked at. So I'm hoping to get to D-Day Girls this year. We'll see though. And then let's just say that I have not read any of the Rebecca Yarros contemporary romances, and the one that I have been recommended the most is Variation, because I did dance for 22 years of my life. I stopped dancing in 2020 whenever I graduated from college, and well, my body aches all the time, but that's besides the point. I did dance for 22 years of my life, so everyone is like, Alyssa, you need to read this one. It's dance, like it's all dance, so please just read this one. So I really, really, really want to read Variation. If I'm going to read any of her contemporary romances, I think I'm gonna start with Variation. I know so many people are like rave about all of her contemporary romances, and I haven't read a single one of them yet. Oops. But yeah, so I am really excited to try Variation and give Variation a shot. And then the last book that I have been recommended was Quicksilver by Callie Hart. Once again, this was recommended to me by Ashley. I feel like I get a lot of my book recommendations from Ashley and Emily, and then like the booktubers that I watch and from Book Talk. But Quicksilver by Callie Hart is another one that I was recommended by Ashley, but once again, I am just not in the fantasy mood. I have just really, really, really been wanting just a good romance, just something sweet and fluffy and fun and nothing high stakes. And well, I did just finish Daisy Hates the Great Undoing, so that was kind of high stakes, but that's besides the point. I'm just really wanting something that's not fantasy right now. So yeah, that's where I am with that. But yeah, so let's recap. The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang was recommended to me by Megan, which is my almost sister-in-law. And then any Abby Jimenez books, which was also recommended to me by my sister-in-law Emily. And then God of Malice by Rina Kent. I cannot remember which one of my friends recommended this. It might have been Desi or Ashley. I don't remember. But it might have been Desi or Ashley, regardless. Then Spark of the Everflame by Penn, which was recommended to me by Ashley. And then D-Day Girls by Sarah Rose was recommended to me by Emily. Then Variation by Rebecca Yarros was recommended to me by Emily. And then Quicksilver by Callie Hart was recommended to me by Ashley. So, yeah, literally mostly Emily and Ashley, and then one Mego. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Make sure you leave a comment downstairs. Make sure you subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one.